What's up, my boys?
We want to tell you what is important to know before you go to Copenhagen. And we are pretty much specialists here.
Since we lived here for many years.
So, sharpen your ears and buckle up because overload.
This is a knowledge video.
Overload information.
Let's go. Point number one is nummer et.
Point number one.
Point number one. You cannot count on the weather in Denmark. No matter if you go in the summer, in the spring, or in the fall, you don't know if it's gonna be rainy, stormy, or sunny, or cold, or warm.
It's definitely always cold in the autumn. I mean, we're in early October. It's 7 degrees.
Yeah, but you will still probably need your shades quite often because the sun does pop out quite often as well. But you will also need an umbrella, so when you leave in the morning to explore the city of Copenhagen, you might as well pack like an extra sweater, some sunnies.
The main takeaway is that even in the summer, it does get chilly. And
even in the winter, it does get sunny.
Yeah, but it's always cold.
Yeah. We are back home because it started raining so bad. So we were like, we are not gonna walk around in the city today. We are gonna sit inside and enjoy a beer. And that leads us to the next point, which is that Danes drink a lot.
Alcohol is ingrained in our culture, so don't be prejudicial. One of the things that you need to know before you go to Copenhagen is that it's not cheap going here. I mean, you have to keep in mind that Copenhagen is one of the top 10 most expensive cities in the world. A beer like this is not that expensive if you buy it in the supermarket, but if you go to a bar, a restaurant, you know, be prepared to pay 7 euros for a normal beer. And that continues into accommodation. If you want to stay at a hotel, Airbnb, you will generally not get very far from anything less than 100 euros.
And when you are out for dinner or lunch, or you want to grab something even fast from the food trucks, it is also super expensive. Another thing that is quite expensive here in Copenhagen is actually the transportation, public transportation. It is also some of the best public systems I have ever experienced. And you can basically choose between metro, bus, or train, and it will take you literally everywhere.
I love taking the bus.
There are 3 opportunities for you to pay for your ride. The one is just getting the main tickets, and they are super expensive. They are 3 euros a ticket, and it would only take you 1 ride for 2 zones. So that would be in the center of the city only. Then you can get yourself a city pass. A city pass is 10 euros, and it will take you around the entire city for 24 hours. And then the last solution is the one that we would prefer and the one that we would also suggest, and that would be the Flex travel card, which is perfect for tourists as well. It will cost you 7 euros to get the card, and then you can put money on it and you can go around with much better prices because it does have discounts. Just remember that you have to check in on the machines and check out when you leave.
In most cities around Europe and the world, you have Uber, but we don't have Uber anymore in Copenhagen. That's a shame, in our opinion, but get used to it because that's how it is, and it's not coming back anytime soon.
And it sucks especially because the taxis are so expensive here in Denmark. Nice cars, but super expensive cars.
We wouldn't recommend taking a taxi here because they rip you off, the prices are ridiculous, and they are not
very kind. But there are other ways to get around here in Copenhagen, and one of them is my favorite way, and that is taking your bicycle. Because that is one of the most comfy, convenient, and nice ways to get around the city. And Joen doesn't agree.
Jeg gider ikke cykle. Hader at cykle.
But I think 90% of the Danes agree.
99?
Joen
99?
is so lazy.
I'm the 1%.
Yeah. You are so lazy.
But Amalie, where do you get the bike?
If you want to get around Copenhagen on a bike, you have to rent one. All are quite expensive, but you are in Copenhagen. The good thing about the bicycles is that we have so many big bike lanes. It's super easy to find a spot to drive on.
It's like the bike lanes here in Copenhagen. They're actually like slowly becoming wider than the actual car lanes, and that's not even an exaggeration.
But it is very easy. It can though be quite difficult for tourists to cope with the way that we drive here in Copenhagen, because you have to keep in mind that in Denmark we have been driving our bikes since we could barely walk. So we know exactly how the system is, and we have some certain rules that we're also following.
Getting on a bicycle and riding around Copenhagen, it's gonna be difficult for many people, and it is, because we see it often that people is like they're dinosaurs in airplane traffic. And I think a lot of tourists who come here, they feel that like riding a bike here is part of exploring Copenhagen, and it is, but just know that it's not. Don't romanticize about it, okay?
It's not a little romantic trip that you would take while the birds are giggling. It's more like people are honking or yelling of you if you are not
Get out of the way, you all fucking
Exactly.
Take a course before you come here.
Yeah. We Danes do not ever cross the red light.
It's like you could stand in the desert with a red light, and there might be a breeze of wind, but you will wait until it's green.
And it's a general thing. And if you do it and they can see that you are a Dane, they might even tell you that wasn't really that smart, was it?
It's like if you cross a red light and there is a grandmother with her granddaughter, she would be like, hey, what kind of manners are you teaching the young people?
Yeah, I've actually had that
it's like,
experience.
hey, I'm in a rush, okay? And common sense also.
So just keep in mind that you can even get fined for it. And it has happened because that's how...
Have you ever gotten a fine for jaywalking?
No, but I got a fine for bicycling over a red light, but it wasn't even a cross. It was just like on a street.
Oh, that's a good story.
Just what?
So Danes have a image that they are quite hard to get to know. They're reserved people, and it's true. But that doesn't mean that we are arrogant pricks. Once you get to know us, we are kind of nice. I think the issue is, how do you get to know us?
Yeah.
And what is your tip pro number one?
I think it's very important that when you want to make friends with a Dane, that you don't approach them with small talk. I think it's really important to be direct and talk about some more deep stuff in the beginning, because that does get our attention. And
Deep stuff like, what is the meaning of life?
Oh, come on.
I'd love to hear your take on this. But it's funny because Danes also like small talks. When you already know them, it's like, oh, so can you believe the weather this week? Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, that's true. The weather is something that Danes like to talk about.
So if you want a small talk about the weather. The weather in Denmark is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get.
You need to know, when traveling to Copenhagen, that it is much more than Tivoli, Nyhavn and Strøget, which is the shopping street. Small.
Sorry.
When you discover some of the smaller areas and neighborhoods here in Copenhagen, you will discover that there are more diversity in the culture and in the food and in everything. So try to go to Vesterbro or Østerbro or Nørrebro, which is like the outer circle of Copenhagen.
Yeah. We made a video in Lisbon, where we live, about how to be a clueless tourist and how to be a wise tourist. And the clueless tourist video is much like our tips and tricks to going to Copenhagen, because the clueless tourists, in our opinion, don't plan anything when they come to Copenhagen. They just go here, walk around aimlessly, don't really know what to do, what to see, what to eat.
But when they do, they just go to TripAdvisor to figure out what is the best. And then everybody ends up at Nyhavn. They go to Tivoli.
And those places are fine.
They are fine, but need to do more than that to
Yeah.
experience what Copenhagen and Denmark actually is.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the food. So many people talk about that Copenhagen street food is Danish food and Nordic food.
I don't even know what street food in Copenhagen is, because it's like the street food here is like, oh, you can get Mexican here. Wow, amazing.
Asian fusion.
It's like, who gives a shit? You can get that everywhere. I mean, if you come here, you should get what we eat in Denmark and what is exclusive to Denmark. And yeah.
You should actually go and check out our food tour. That was the last video we posted. If you want to get pure, real Danish food in Denmark.
We are fine dining enthusiasts, and we have been to Geranium, Noma. Like, Copenhagen is one of the hottest hotspots of
Michelin.
of the universe when it comes to Michelin restaurants and the most creative food you can get. And it's not the emperor's new clothes. It truly is
Really good.
a gastronomic experience to die for. I mean, it is.
Yeah, and it is better than our old
No, but you can't compare it. I mean, it's like, how do you compare a Bugatti Chiron with an old
Fiat Punto.
Fiat Punto, Amalie? Really?
That's a cute
I would
car.
say
That's a
that
cute
I would
car,
say that
actually.
our Danish food is more than a Fiat Punto. I would say it's more like a Mercedes SL 65.
Wow, listen to you. I've never heard you be that positive about something Danish.
No, but we surprised ourselves when we made the food tour.
Let's take the last one. Guys, we might as well wrap this up while Joen is continuously drinking.
Amalie, you said that Danes drink, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
What a good excuse. Denmark is wonderful to visit, and especially Copenhagen is what you should visit when you come to Denmark.
True.
But one of the pro tips that we can give is that you get more out of the experience if you visit Denmark in the summer, because in the summer we have the longest days. It is light outside until like 12 o'clock in the evening,
Kind of.
and the sun already rises at 4. So
Yeah.
you'll get long, beautiful days and beautiful sunsets and everything.
And if you were to pick a month to go here, we always say May, because like somehow May is a month where the weather is most consistent. You don't come here to go to the beach, you come here to
Explore the city and the culture and the food.
yeah.
And get drunk on the street. No matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna have a good time here.
And guys, if you feel that the €7 beers are too expensive, I know the place to go where you can pay 2.5, €3 for a beer. We have these brown pubs, as we call them, where you can get a bottle of Tuborg for €2.5. And this place is one of them. And it's so smoky in there because you can smoke in there. And it's so Danish, like it doesn't get more Danish than that. Thank me in the description where you can pay us on PayPal.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yeah.
See you in the next vlog where we are flying business.
Oh,
You sweets.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
See you in the next vlog, guys. Ciao, ciao. Hasta loco.
Hasta luego.